there. So what are the top challenges and opportunities for postmodern dance form? Tough one. One thing that comes to mind is, for a challenge, is to stay relevant. I think a lot of time, the concept of what postmodern dance is can get lost because there's been so many other things that have been created since then, in different forms and styles that, of course, come from the lineage. But postmodernism at its purity, at its center, at its core, gets a little lost in the shuffle of things sometimes, of the busy moving things forward. So even though it's important that things move forward, I think we also have the opportunity to make sure that this form and the essence of it is introduced, or that is introduced and lives to new generations of dancers and thinkers and artists, because there's so much collaboration that can happen, and that this form has such a powerful engine to drive forward and open things up to other possibilities. So I hope it doesn't get watered down as much as it has in the past. But again, like I said, it's not that it can't change. Of course it changes. It has changed. It will continue to change. And it's not going to be called postmodern dance, but that's okay. But the essence of it living on, and the kernels of it living on is important. The other thing I would say as a challenge would be teaching this type of form in academia. That challenge that we all are dealing with, I think, in dance, which is pushing up to the top the highlighted forms, not the older forms that have been in academia for decades and decades, but allowing the other forms, whether it's postmodern, Afro-Latin, hip hop, African dance, no matter what the forms are that need to be highlighted, that education of educators keeps moving forward, and that the value system, the value is seen and heard and represented, because without it, it can't actually move forward, because a lot of programs that dancers are coming into to get degrees, or even in studio dances, studio companies and studio schools, having this form be as important as the other forms is a way to honor the past pioneers, but also a way to honor the future. So those are a couple of challenges and opportunities that we have to in those types of places that will I hope further the evolution of what postmodern can be. So the next clip for us to look at is a piece that I actually choreographed in collaboration with my two dancers. The piece, and it's kind of like what I'm talking about, the challenge, but also the opportunity, mixed into one. The piece is titled Love Alone, Initial Study. It's a work that was inspired by some writings from Paul Monette, who wrote a book of 18 elegies entitled Love Alone. It's centered from back when his partner, back in the 60s, his partner was passed away from AIDS, the AIDS epidemic. So it's kind of a way to take poetry or text and use it to put the feelings of my connection to that epidemic, that pandemic back then, especially now, and being removed from it, but a way that lets me sort of look at it in a fresh way. And with current dancers who were not alive, did not even live through that, only knowing what they know through, writings and articles and stories and things that I've shared back, about that time. And so bringing that to light, putting it in movement, sharing a little bit of Paul Monette's experience, I think I would say, but also just a lot of the emotion, the time that was happening, and then experimenting with, of course, using words in it as well, using his words, and then, like I said, with that mix of something that's happened in the past that no one lived. I was there. I was young, but I lived through that time, and then dancers that had no idea about that time, really have no experience with that time. And then just what we developed together out of the conversations around that. So I feel it's appropriate for this topic that we're talking about today, which is the challenges and the opportunities that are available to the forum. So let's take a look at that, Love Alone, and see what you think about that. Thanks.